The scream that shattered the swamp was sharp, raw, and filled with terror. On a dirt track cutting through the wetlands, a tiny puppy, no more than 4 months old, writhed in agony. Mud clung to its thin body as a giant anaconda tightened its coils around the pup's fragile ribs, each squeeze forcing the air from its lungs. Moments earlier, the marsh had been quiet, clearing bathed in late sunlight, where reeds swayed gently and insects hummed, held a fleeting peace. In that brief lull, the puppy had stumbled after a dragonfly, tail wagging furiously, its paws slipping in the muck. Beside him, his mother rested, ribs showing through her patchy coat, her eyes weary but tender. She watched her little one chase the flickering wings, a picture of innocence in a world too harsh for strays. The dragonfly darted toward the dirt road. Oblivious, the pup followed, nose to the ground, paws splashing in shallow puddles. He didn't notice the stillness in the reeds, the way the air itself seemed to tense. The attack came like lightning. A flash of gold and black surged from the grass. Before the playful bark could turn into a laugh, the world snapped shut in coils of crushing muscle. The puppy's cry tore through the swamp, turning play into nightmare in the blink of an eye. The mother's head shot up. In that instant, fatigue vanished. She was no longer just a worn-out stray. She was raw instinct, fury on 4 legs. She bolted, mud spraying from her paws, teeth bared in a sound that was half growl, half scream. She slammed into the snake, biting, clawing, pulling with every ounce of strength. But the anaconda was a living knot of muscle, tightening with each frantic tug. The puppy's legs jerked weakly, his chest fluttering like a dying flame. The mother's cries shifted from rage to desperation. Ash! And then another sound cut through the chaos, the low growl of an engine. A forest green ranger truck skidded to a halt on the road. 2 men jumped out. One was tall and broad-shouldered, skin dark as the swamp mud, his eyes blazing with urgency. His name was Marcus Asse, a ranger who had grown up in these wetlands. Beside him was David Rowan, older, his hair silvered with years, his stance calm but taut with authority. "Holy Christ," David breathed. Marcus surged forward, but David caught his arm. "Wait, look at her." The mother dog spun on the road, crouched over her limp pup, her body trembling. Mud dripped from her fur as she bared her teeth at the men, warning them off. Her eyes blazed with a single message: "Touch him, and I'll fight you too." The puppy wheezed, chest stuttering, breath slipping away. Marcus's jaw tightened. "There's no time." Grabbed a sturdy wooden staff from the back of the truck. David took another, their eyes meeting for a heartbeat in grim understanding. They would risk it all. They fanned out, circling wide. Marcus jabbed at the snake's tail, forcing its head to turn. The anaconda whipped around, striking at the pole with a hiss. In that split second, David dove low, wedging his staff between the crushing coils and the puppy's body. He pushed with all his weight, muscles straining. The snake thrashed, mud exploding in every direction. The mother lunged again, teeth sinking into slick, scaled flesh, her growl muffled against muscle. "Now, David, push," Marcus shouted, swinging his pole to strike the snake's thick body. The anaconda recoiled, just enough for David to pry a gap in its coils. With a tearing groan like rope under strain, one loop loosened. David shoved harder. Marcus slammed the pole against the snake's side again and again until, with a violent heave, the coils unwound. A blur of gold and brown, the anaconda released its prey and slid back into the reeds, vanishing into the swamp's dark waters. For a moment, the world went still. The puppy lay motionless in the mud. The mother whimpered, nudging his limp body with her nose before turning wide, pleading eyes toward the men. Her body quivered, as if begging for help. David dropped to his knees, hands trembling as he pressed fingers against the pup's chest. A faint, fluttering pulse answered. "Stay with me," he whispered, his voice breaking. He began careful compressions, pressing the tiny chest with controlled urgency. Marcus knelt beside him, speaking low and steady to the mother dog, who hovered inches away, torn between fear and trust. "It's okay. We're helping. He's not gone yet." 1 second. 2. Then the pup sputtered, coughed weakly, and gasped in a ragged breath. The mother let out a cry that split the silence. She licked frantically at her pup's muddy face, nuzzling him as though to anchor him back to life. The little one wheezed, then pressed feebly into her warmth. Alive. David sagged back into the mud, his breath shaking. Marcus laughed once, but it broke into a choked exhale. Relief coursed through them like a flood. The mother didn't waste a moment. She cradled her pup against her chest, trembling but fierce, her eyes never leaving the men. Slowly she lifted her head, meeting their gaze. No fear lingered there, only raw, wordless gratitude. David whispered that wasn't just survival. Marcus nodded, voice soft. No, that was love. The swamp returned to silence, but for the 4 souls who had stood on that muddy road, nothing would ever be the same. The puppy would carry scars across his ribs, reminders of how close death had come. The mother would forever remember the moment when strangers chose to fight beside her, not against her. And the rangers Marcus and David would speak of it in quiet tones for years. Of a day when instinct, courage, and compassion converged on a dirt road in the wetlands. Sometimes survival isn't just muscle against muscle or chance against fate. Sometimes it's a mother's cry, a stranger's choice, and the beating of a fragile heart that refuses to give in.